guys, it is day 28. I cannot believe that we only have 3 videos left after this. I am so excited for today's topic. We're going to be talking about being a student with fibromyalgia. Me and some of my friends were all diagnosed when we were younger, so as we were going through treatments and through diagnostics and newly diagnosed, we were all students. So we put our heads together and decided to come up with a few helpful tips for those of you that are. That way you guys can hopefully learn some new things. So let's get started. So having fibromyalgia is in itself not easy, but once you throw either being a mom or being a student or a full-time worker into the mix, it gets even more difficult. So we decided to come up just with some different things to help you. We know that brain fog is a huge issue, memory, having the motor skills and motor functions and being exhausted and flare-ups. There's just so much that just goes into fibromyalgia that we experience every day that it can make it difficult to be that A and B student sometimes, because it can take such a big toll on our bodies and on our mental health. So one of the most helppful things that all of us learned, thankfully, and I actually taught a couple of them this, was how to take notes properly. My cousin who was a psych major, she actually taught me an idea along with one of my instructors on how to organize your notes and color code in a way that your brain is automatically going to start memorizing as you're taking the notes. And that is with color coding. So color coding is something you want to make sure that you use the same colors that you do in one class across all of your classes. So my biggest thing was I used yellow, pink, green, and blue. So my main topic would be yellow. Then my subtopics, I would title A, B, C, and D, and I would highlight the letters with pink. Then I would have my subnotes under them. Then I would do 1, 2, 3, and I would highlight those in green. And then, of course, if there was anything super important, I would usually box it up or highlight it in blue. That way, I knew that those were super important and were definitely going to be on the test. I would use these in my math class, my photography classes, English, science, you name it. All of my classes, I would do this. And you can also do this, which is the next tip we wanted to give you, is in a planner. So one of the best things that you can do is get yourself a really good planner. I love the Erin Condren planners because I can do the hourly schedule, and then it's got, of course, the monthly calendar. So I can use different colors and color code for each specific thing, including my classes. So say for work would be, for me, photography, so it would be purple. Then I would have all of my classes in either yellow, green, or orange. So I'd give each class a color so I could block it out in my hourly timesheet. So you can use whatever color coding system you like I would use red for the vet or for the doctor's appointments. I would use yellow if it was just something I needed to get done by a certain time. So you can color code however you want. Make sure that all of your classes have the same color coding system and all of your planner do too. Sharpie makes amazing highlighters. They've got liquid ones that literally have a million colors. And then I like to use different gel pens and stuff, and I make sure that my pens match the same colors as my highlighters, so it was easier for me to organize. And I started noticing that I was doing better in class, better on tests, and then also remembering dates and times and places better. Another tip too for those students that live on campus is to make sure that you find ways to eat healthy and are getting enough water. So I know we did a whole video on nutrition, so I'm not going to go too much into that, but make sure you're getting enough protein, make sure you're getting enough vegetables, because the healthier you eat, which I know for a fact because I was a student, it can be very, very difficult to eat healthy with on-campus meals. But most colleges offer salad bars, or they've got little places that you can use. I don't know, I think some colleges have prepaid debit cards through the college that you pay monthly for. So just make sure you're eating healthy and that you're getting enough water, because the healthier you eat and the more water you drink, the less likely you are to start experiencing flare-ups. From a dear friend of mine, this was her top piece of advice. Make sure that you are setting checkpoints for big or longer assignments. So when you're under a lot of stress and trying to cram, whether it's for a test or an assignment, it can be very difficult. So that can cause stress and anxiety, which in turn can cause you to have a flare-up. So make sure that you're planning ahead. If you get a big research paper, make sure you're having certain checkpoints. That way you know exactly what you need to do. And when that part needs to be done, so it's less for you to do come time when it's the last few days before the paper. So make sure too that you're writing for papers or tests that you're studying a few days ahead of time. That way that day of, or the day before that the test is due, you're not trying to cram. You've already been pre-planning, you've already hit your checkpoints, you've already been studying, so that way you're not under as much stress at that time. From another friend of mine, his top piece of advice was to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. We know that as students we're given so much homework, sometimes we work jobs when we're in college, sometimes we travel back and forth from home to college. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep though. 3 to 6 hours is not enough for your body. Plan ahead. Make sure that you're getting at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep. And I know that can be hard. I did a whole video on some sleep remedies, so if you have any questions about some different sleep remedies, I talked about them in the natural and holistic healing video, and then I also talked about them strictly in a video for sleep. So just make sure you're trying to find ways to get enough sleep. If your body is asking for more sleep, make sure you have time for a quick power nap. You can power nap around campus, run home and power nap if you live on campus, but make sure you're getting enough sleep. One of my pieces of advice is make sure that if you have a doctor, you're in constant contact. So I used to touch base with my doctor almost monthly to ask whether there was new research or to explain what was going on. I also had a psychiatrist to help me since I was newly diagnosed. A lot of campuses offer free mental health services or very, very cheap mental health services. So definitely look into that. Mental health services aren't just there for people who have mental health problems. They're also there for students. And they're also there for people who just need someone to talk to get an outside perspective or to work through certain things. They are lifesavers. So if you're feeling stressed, anxious, you're having a hard time coping, you're having a hard time getting through your classes, they can help you. They're trained to help you. Make sure too you're getting physical activity. So whether it's walking to and from classes, whether it's just taking a relaxing walk after class, or in the mornings beforehand, just make sure you're getting physical activity too. So this physical activity is going to help get your body moving. It's going to help make sure that your blood flow is circulating properly, that you're getting like stress relief, because exercise is huge for stress relief. So make sure you're getting physical activity, especially when it's crunch time. I know it can be hard. You want to study. You want to make sure you get that A. Take 20 minutes and go for a walk around the block. Don't think about class. Think about breathing. There's different YouTube videos you can watch. If you have Audible, there's different free programs you can get for like meditation, for thought process, mindfulness. So try those out. Just take 20 to 30 minutes for yourselves and get yourself moving. And my last piece of advice for you, which we all agreed on when I sat down and talked to them at a round table, is to make sure you're not overstressing yourself. All of us were full-time students and beyond. We took way more than the recommended classes. Make sure you're not doing that. Make sure that you're doing what your body is allowing. So I understand that we all want to graduate early. We want to get through our classes. We want to take on those extracurriculars, but don't overstress yourself. Don't overburden yourself. That is going to cause a lot of your fibromyalgia symptoms to worsen or start popping up, especially if you've been newly diagnosed. Flare-ups can get worse. Brain fog can get worse. Stress can cause just so many issues. So make sure that you're not overburdening yourself. Don't worry. Everything will happen in due time. Don't panic. All right, guys. So those are our top pieces of advice for those of you that are students. Trust me, we have been there. We know it's not easy. And all of us were pretty much diagnosed while we were in college. So it's extremely difficult. And I know we've got a few younger viewers here that watch. So I completely sympathize with you and empathize with you. Tomorrow, especially if you have been newly diagnosed, guys, we're going to be talking about resources for you, from Facebook groups to different organizations to communities. We're going to be talking about just a bunch of different resources. I'm going to pick the best ones that I have found out there and that I have discovered. So definitely watch tomorrow's video if you've been newly diagnosed or have been diagnosed for a while. So I will see you guys tomorrow.